So I'm going to start by drawing the basic demand and supply diagram. We have a price axis and we have a quantity axis. Then we have a downward sloping demand curve and we have an upward sloping supply curve. So the key to this diagram is simply this point in the middle here, which is when supply equals demand. And this is our equilibrium point. It is the point where that occurs, so where supply equals demand. And at this point, we can say that this is where price is in equilibrium and quantity is in equilibrium. So in order to understand this, we can look at it quite intuitively. So why is demand sloping down? Well, it's quite simple. As the price falls, people demand more of that good. So you can see as the price goes lower, the quantity increases because of this downward sloping demand curve. Similarly, when firms are producing something, as the price increases, they're willing to supply more. There's more of an incentive to produce because they can make more money. And that concept is really the foundations for the consumer and producer surplus. So let's take a look at how we calculate those. So in order to calculate consumer surplus, we want to find the area below this demand curve, but above this price. And the way to think about this is that there's a consumer out there somewhere who is willing to pay this price up here. Someone is demanding, say, 1 unit of good, and they're willing to pay this price. But because the market is operating at equilibrium, they only have to pay the price down here. So their gain is this kind of whole area here, right down to the price. So they've gained all that. And then similarly, we have someone here who would demand a unit at this price, but they only again have to pay that equilibrium price. So they're gaining all of this area. And if you add all of that up, you get the consumer surplus. So this whole triangle becomes the consumer surplus. Now, if you were in an exam and you were given some numbers, you can calculate this triangle as just simply half its base times its height. And they might say that this intersects up here at $10, this is $5. So you could just calculate that in an exam. So in the same vein, the producer surplus is going to be this triangle here, because there are some firms who are willing to produce at, say, $1, and they're able to get this equilibrium price, which is higher than that. So all these producers come together and we get a producer surplus, which is this triangle here. And again, you could calculate the area of this triangle. And it's really that straightforward, trying to think about this logically and following along intuitively by thinking about what happens when prices rise and prices fall. What are the incentives or consumer behaviors that will change? And what are the incentives for producers? If you think about that logically, you can work through this in an exam and come up with some really nice analysis. Anyway, that's all for today. If you like this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe, or drop a comment below if you have any specific questions. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.